Hi students, I'm Mrs. Poster and welcome to my chemistry class. This video is on expectations and policies that you'll see this semester in chemistry. So I'm going to switch over and show a slideshow that you also have access to, and we're going to go through this slideshow together. So your objective here is to understand the expectations and how to earn your grade in this class. So it's going to be broken up into a couple of sections. The first one is some basic information. We'll talk about grade scale and categories. We'll go into our weekly, daily overview and end with just a couple of questions. If you have additional questions after this video, please bring those questions to class tomorrow when we discuss it. First, some information. First and foremost, NEO. NEO is our home base. It's where you're going to find everything this year. I always include any links, etc. are always on our NEO page. So visit often, understand it as well as you can. Quarter 1 and 2, you can see the breakdown here. I'll kind of let you go through that if you'd like. Materials, so you can see materials at the bottom has a link in it. Materials, there is an entire video on that specifically because we're going to go over how to discuss notes in that video. So I just wanted to highlight you need a dedicated notebook and you need a scientific calculator that is not built into your iPad or your phone. It needs to be separate because you can't use your phone as a calculator on a test. That would be a big bummer. Little about me. Let me go ahead and hide my face so that we can see the picture. So easiest way to reach me is through my email. It's mposter@sbunified.org. If you just type poster into your school email, it'll pop up for you. My office hours are Tuesday from 8:30 to 9:30 in the morning and Thursday from 3:30 to 4:30. If those times don't work for you, when you go to this Calendly link, those are the only options it'll kind of give you is 15-minute slots in there. Give me an email, send me a NEO message. We can find a time that works. Our website is posterchemistry.com. I used to have way more stuff on here, but for this year with remote learning, we're sticking to NEO. NEO is going to have our best bet for all of the stuff that we need because it's one place. So you're welcome to go to the website if you want to get a preview or see what's going to happen, but you don't need to. It'll all be on NEO for us. So you can use NEO. Diving into grade scale and categories. So we're going to start with a pie chart. Our pie chart is going to tell us specific categories. So you can see by far the biggest portion of our gradebook is assessments. Those are where we see what you know after all the practice that we've done. So those are worth the biggest percent of your grade. Practice is worth 30% of your grade. So those are the majority of assignments, any educational videos, any notes, any labs will go into that practice category, as well as daily points, which we'll talk about later on. And finally, the portion that I'm hiding is Aspire assignments. And our Aspire assignments are something that we're going to talk about in just a second. They're kind of our advanced understanding practice level. So they deserve their own category because they are more advanced than just plain practice. So speaking of practice, practice is where we develop our proficiencies. It's not weighted as much because if I grade practice really heavily, I'm mostly just grading you for completion here and your ability to do the very basic stuff. The majority of your grade is really where you're demonstrating your understanding of the chemistry. That final 10%, those Aspire assignments, are advanced content. Those are where you really get to demonstrate at a higher level beyond just multiple choice type things that you understand the content and you understand the science practices behind that content. So a lot of claim evidence reasonings will be in here. Maybe it'll be something more out of the box, a research assignment, a podcast, a video, something like that. More information on Aspire assignments once we have a little more context. The key here is that it only occurs 1 to 2 times per unit. So there won't be a bunch of these types of projects because they only are completed after you've already reached proficiency. So you've already demonstrated that you understand and you're ready for some more advanced content. 3 levels of assignments. So must-dos are the fundamentals. Those are required in order to pass the class with a C. Those are all assessments, so tests and quizzes. They're all instructional videos. They're all the basic labs and assignments. Should-dos are partially graded, partially not graded. So we have our practice sheets, our should-dos, those aren't graded. Because if you don't need to complete extra practice problems, then I don't want to make you do extra busy work. Sometimes there'll be must-do assignments, like a lab, let's say, where you have a page of the assignment that you have to do in order to get a 75%. And there's a couple of challenge problems that you can attempt that are optional, but necessary if you want to get 100% on that assignment. That would be the type of should-do portions that would be graded. And then our Aspire to-dos, those advanced content that we just talked about, those are required in order to earn a grade. They are worth 10% of your grade. And they are also a great way to raise your grade. So let's say that you didn't do very well on a unit test. So completing an Aspire assignment would help you raise your grade. So let's apply it to the pie chart. So we have our must-dos is over 80% because it's all of our assessments and it's mostly all of our practice over here as well. The only thing that isn't part of the practice that would not be a must-do is those little should-do portions, those every once in a while challenge problems or models, something like that. And then the Aspire makes up that final 10%. Those are not must-dos. Those are optional. Those are completely optional. But if you want to earn a higher grade in the class, they are required. You need to demonstrate that you understand more advanced content and topics in chemistry. We use a pretty traditional grade scale here. You can see I set my gradebook to automatically round up for you. So if you're earning an 89.5, yep, that's an A-, that's a 90%. So the difference is that we don't have any D+ or D category. We just have a big D- category. And the reason for that is because it's our danger of failing zone. It's letting us know, hey, we are not reaching proficiency. We need to pick up the pace of our work. We need to make sure that we're understanding our content. We need to work maybe a little more with Mrs. Poster, etc. So that's our warning zone. And that, if you are earning your grade of a D-, you will hear a lot from me and will be in contact with your parent or guardian too. We really want to strive for something higher. These are a couple of sample rubrics. You can look at these on your own. The thing I want to highlight is the bottom section. So let's say we're doing a evidence-based explanation of something. So we're writing a CER, claim evidence reasoning, and you score a 3 out of 4. Great, you met the goal. You checked the boxes. You showed me that you understand most of this content. You understand enough to make sense of everything. Or maybe you were totally awesome and you knocked it out of the park and you got 100%. But you'll notice you can't earn below a 75%. You can't. If you don't reach proficiency, if you don't show that you understand it enough, you get an incomplete and you revise. And then you get to try it again until you get proficient level. Let's see a more specific breakdown of that. In order to receive a grade on a proficiency check, so I call quizzes proficiency checks, and that's because of this whole revision thing. They're not really a typical quiz. If you score a 75% or above, great. Then you've showed you're proficient, you can move on. If you score below a 75%, then you will have class time to revise your answer to see where you went wrong. Maybe you review some material, watch another instructional video, look over your notes, and then you get to take it again. Of course, with different questions, right? Different questions, but on the same topic to show that you understand. And the reason for that is because content in chemistry builds one concept to the next. You have to understand the content from Unit 1 in order to understand Unit 2. We can't start to build molecules if we don't understand the atoms and elements those molecules are built from. We can't look at chemical reactions and energy if we don't understand how chemical bonds hold those atoms together. So we need to understand those basics in order to build on that content. And then a quick note over here. Only proficiency checks can be revised. If we're taking a unit test, you cannot revise those. There's no revise and reassess. And that's because of this step. If each quiz along the way, you've had a chance to look over, review, and really show that you understand the content, once we get to the end of the unit, we don't get a chance to revise. So let's say it's a day that we're taking a quiz. It's a Tuesday, we have a quiz, we enter into Zoom, we're taking it on Neo, and you get a score of 90 or better. Awesome. So then you use your time for the Aspire assignments in class. You get to work on that advanced content. Maybe you're with groups of others who are also at that same level because you've all demonstrated you understand the content well enough to do that Aspire assignment. Let's say you score proficient, but not 100%. Well, in that case, you can choose to either revise and then try to take it again for a higher score, or you can work on an Aspire activity. Let's say you score below 75%. In that case, you don't have a choice. You have to revise, see where you went wrong in your assessment, maybe go back to some notes or videos, and then you have a chance in class to reassess, to try to take it again with new questions. Okay, let's talk about our weekly and daily overview. So here's a typical week. You can spend your time looking at this later on. I just want to highlight the highlighted things. So Tuesdays in this class are the days we take assessments. Individual assessments happen every Tuesday. Maybe it's a unit test. Maybe it's just a proficiency check. And this is the basis for the rest of our week. Because we take all of our assessments on Tuesday, that means on Wednesday, we're all at the same pace. We all get to start something new together or revise something together because we've all demonstrated our proficiency. On Fridays, all of your must-do assignments should be completed because we have an assessment the next Tuesday. So if your must-do assignments aren't completed by Friday, then you'll get a parent square message home to let your parent or guardian know you're a little bit behind. You need to work a little bit over the weekend in order to get caught up before your assessment. Let's say it's the following Monday and you still haven't completed those must-do assignments. That's a referral. That's where you are behind. We've had a lot of opportunity to catch up and we haven't taken it. So that would be a referral because we all need to make sure we're on the same pace. Speaking of accountability, so just a wrap up of that stuff here, assessments happen on Tuesday. So this is what I was just talking about. Must-do work needs to be completed the Friday before or I will contact home. It's just a warning, a reminder. There's no grade penalty for that. You won't be docked any points for that. If work is still not completed by Monday, that is a referral. Mondays are for reviewing, additional practice, collaboration, and if you are not ready for that, especially by the time we get to the next day, that Tuesday for the assessment, you aren't going to be able to be proficient if you haven't done those must-do assignments. Another method for accountability, more on our behavior and prepared side, is our daily point system. So daily points are something that happen in my class in person and are happening on Zoom as well. And they're super important. And the reason they're super important is because you have a right to learn and love school. And in order for our class environment online to be one where we can really excel each and every day, really collaborate effectively, really dive deeply into the content, we need to follow a couple of basic rules. We need to come prepared each and every lesson, and I have to help us, right? I have to help us reach those standards so that we can flow and we can focus on the chemistry instead of all the other stuff that gets in the way. Each day is a new start where 4 points are earned automatically, and eventually these get to be very easy to earn, by the way. When rules are broken, points are lost, and you can check your score on Neo frequently to see about that. If you lose 1 point, let's say that we are in breakout rooms and you are muted the whole time and you're not contributing. Well, 1 point would be removed. If appropriate, I will let you know. And what that means is something politely and privately. So I would send you a private chat like, hey, just so you know, you lost a point because your microphone is off in breakout rooms. But only if appropriate. Let's say I'm in the middle of a demo. I'm not going to stop what I'm doing and work on that private chat just to let you know. I would also never, notice how it says politely, I would never call you out in front of the entire class. I would never spotlight your video, anything like that. These are polite, me just letting you know that you've broken a rule. If more than one rule is broken, you've lost more than 1 point in one class, I'll hold you after for just 10 or 15 seconds just to let you know. Like, hey, so-and-so, you lost a couple of points today because you broke rules 1 and 3. If that behavior continues throughout the week, it's going to lead to contact home and a referral. But keep in mind, you start fresh every single day. It's just my way of letting you know where we're at. What are the rules? So we're going to go through these more specifically in class. I'll teach you them as they kind of come up. Listen and follow directions pretty much covers everything. But I wanted to lay out a few more specifics. Number 2, log into the lesson on time and come prepared. Rule 3, respect your classmates and your teacher, including your language. So I don't care if you're using super high-level academic vocabulary in your breakout rooms. I do care that you're treating one another with respect. Number 4, keep your video on and be on screen until instructed otherwise. So your video needs to be on and your face needs to be in that video until instructed. There definitely will be times in class where I will allow you to turn your video off and just get some quiet work time done, but it needs to be when allowed. Number 5, participate with questions, comments, and polls. Super important to make this an interactive class. The more that you give me comments and questions, the more helpful I can be to you. And number 6, when in breakout rooms, unmute to collaborate. You can't collaborate if you can't hear each other and can't talk to each other. Couple of FAQs and then we're done. Is it possible to earn a score between those on a rubric? So let's say a 3 is a 75%, a 4 is 100%. Can you get a 3.5? Sometimes, yeah, you absolutely can. If I score below proficient, less than 75, will there be opportunities for me to retry or reassess? Yes, only on proficiency checks, and there will be class time for you to revise with the help of either someone who is proficient or most likely me and other peers. If I am absent, how do I make up my daily points? You earn daily points automatically when you're absent, as long as you make up the work that you missed while you were absent in a timely manner. Why can't I earn an A for only completing must-do assignments? An A tells us that you understand the content very deeply, you worked very hard to get there, and you have a very good comprehensive understanding of the content. Only those aspire to do assignments really demonstrate that level. Multiple choice tests are fine, but our Aspire assignments are really where we get deeper into the content, and you can really show your understanding. The must-do assignments can get you to a C. C is passing. C tells me you understand a decent amount, but in order to really earn that A, you have to show that you understand beyond just the very basics. All right, that was it. I hope the video is helpful. Of course, feel free to rewind and rewatch as necessary. Bring any questions you have to class tomorrow and we can talk about it. And then look for those class rules to keep appearing throughout the week as we go through them and I teach you a little bit more about them. We get a freebie first week on those daily points. So while we're learning those, just ask as many questions as you can. And I look forward to seeing you in class. Bye.